Stephanie, what's going on? Welcome to the Ever Forward Summit. All the way from across the pond. I'm here in California, and you're in Ireland, correct?
Correct.
What is life like in Ireland during a global pandemic? I'm very familiar with what's going on in the States here, but what's going on overseas?
So over here, we're on lockdown. So everything is shut. Everything bar the supermarket and some restaurants. Everything else is shut. So we're allowed to go on one daily walk, but
They've
you
even
have
limited your walks.
yeah. So you have to stay within a 2 kilometer radius of your house for your exercise.
Wow.
There's checkpoints. So if you're like driving along the road, there's checkpoints, and the Garda, which is the police over here,
Okay.
will stop you and check where you're going and make
Oh
sure
my,
that's there. Good enough reason, they'll turn you around and you go back home.
that's a little bit more intense than anywhere I've heard here in the States. That's
Yeah.
wild.
It's different. It's different.
Wow.
All right. You're not allowed, the beaches are all closed. So, like, we've got 4 dogs. We
Mm.
used to like to take them for a walk on the beach. You can't do that now.
Same here in California. All the beaches are closed. Yeah, most of them anyway.
Isn't it? Like, I know it's for a good reason, but it just feels so strange.
Did you ever think that you would be living through something like this?
No. And I love history too. So I knew,
Ah,
like, I read about, the Spanish flu and all that, but I didn't think that I would actually live through a pandemic like this.
sure.
Mm.
It's, what's it like having a family? Congrats again. You've got, how old is your child now? Not quite a newborn,
Almost
right?
6 months. Almost 6 months.
Oh, so it is still pretty new. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. What's it like being a new mom, and just having a family that is going through this, not just as an individual?
It's kind of nerve-wracking, to be honest. I feel like I wouldn't be as scared if it was just me and my partner, but when you have a baby involved, you have to look out for them and their well-being as well. So and I'm a nervous person anyway. I'm constantly worried about things, so it just kind of like ramped that up to the
Sure.
whole next level. So I just kind of keep him at home, and we get out for some walks and things like that, but we don't speak to anyone. We haven't been taking him to his grandma's house or his grandpa's house, and they all miss him. And then
Of
my
course.
family
Yeah.
back home in Australia, so I'm like constantly checking in with them and seeing like, are you staying home? Are you safe? It's just strange times.
Someone like you who has over the years kind of made a living, made a presence, on beauty, making things more beautiful, finding beauty in really anything, and just I probably sound like an idiot because it's very obvious I'm not in the beauty world, but I do know your presence and your content is incredible. My wife watches you, has been watching you for a long time. Um,
Hello, thank you.
of course, yeah, thank you. How are you finding beauty in all of this right now? Has that thought, that concept of beauty, changed in your mind at all in terms of just your daily outlook and your content? What does that mean to you now?
I feel like at the moment, and what I try to do in life as a whole is when, negative things are happening, I always try and find, it sounds so cliche, but I do always try and find the positive, because otherwise I can tend to be a really anxious person. So by actually trying to find a positive in a negative situation, I start to feel a bit better. So I think like the beauty of this whole, negative situation is that, people here in Ireland, for example, the weather's not great. So people don't usually be outdoors walking, like they'll be indoors a lot of the time. And
Right.
now if you drive to the grocery shop, everyone's out. They're riding bikes. They're sat in the one bit of sunlight for the day. People are walking. It's just really nice to see. And as far as, makeup goes, I know it's super trivial with everything that's going on. Like makeup is not important at all. But if you're, stuck at home in isolation, just putting on makeup and getting dressed for the day, even if you're not going anywhere, it can kind of give you a sense of normality
Hmm.
and make you feel a little bit more motivated, because otherwise you can start feeling sluggish if you're just sitting in your pajamas all day. But if you get up, do your hair, do your makeup, it can make you feel a lot better and a lot more normal with what's going on.
I agree. I agree. And I think back to, I mean, look, I'm a human being. And at first it was kind of like, oh, we've got a snow day, like school's canceled kind of thing. And then now here we are in Los Angeles. It's over 4 weeks now. We're going into the fifth week of all this. And like I said, I'm a human being. Some days I wore the same thing that I did the day before. Total honesty. I didn't brush my teeth one day. And and then it was kind of a very quick, slippery slope as to feeding into that mindset of, what's the point? What's going to change? When's it going to change? Why should I, go about any sense of normalcy? But then when I did, I was like, no, all right, I went back to my routine, get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, just as if the day was normal, which what is normal anyway. It really did help kind of change my daily productivity, my outlook, and honestly was one of the ways that it kind of sparked my idea for this whole summit. So how would you kind of recommend someone to find normalcy, or rather, what are you doing to maintain normalcy? Or is it, the same normal routine, same, makeup, same everything?
So for me, to be honest, because like we were talking about earlier, I already work from home online and I'm a bit of a hermit as it
Mm.
is. So I've got to be honest, my daily routine hasn't changed a whole lot. But I
So
am
that
just trying
every online business owner ever for going on right now. Yeah.
to, it just suits the hermit lifestyle. That I've just been trying to kind of pump out more content because I know people are sat at home probably bored because there's only so much you can watch on Netflix.
Right.
So I've been trying to put out more content, which I haven't actually succeeded at yet, but I have ideas.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I was thinking, now would be a great time if you're off work to actually, practice a hobby, or if you've got, paints, like get painting, get creative, do the things that you never had time to do before. And, with, people that like makeup, you may not have had time to try, crazy artistic looks, but now if you're stuck at home and you've got nothing else to do, pull out the brushes, pull out the makeup and just have fun and get creative. And it's not even so much about looking beautiful if you're not even leaving the house, but
Mhm.
it's just about doing something you enjoy and getting creative and passing some time, I suppose.
Absolutely. Passing the time can be a win for the day,
Trying
as
to
this,
stay busy, I think.
say again.
Trying to stay busy rather than just kind of, sitting at home watching TV all day, because then you do end up feeling sluggish.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think right now, hopefully a lot of people are becoming more aware of what they're doing, what they're not doing in terms of just day-to-day habits, day-to-day productivity, but also their health. What are you
Mm.
eating? Are you being more conscious of what you're eating, what you're not eating, water, sleep? Hopefully now this, before all of the internet stuff here, I was a health coach. And that's still a big part of my life. And the health coach in me is coming out and wants to just be like, all right, people, here's your opportunity to really get dialed in or just become aware of healthy habits that you have, that you want to really solidify, or maybe some areas, or even just one area that you don't have that you would like to have to introduce to your life, to make your life more beautiful. I keep going back to that word. Beauty for you, would you say now, or maybe always, has it been more of a feeling? Would you say that beauty has been a feeling, beauty has been a mindset, other than what we just see on the external?
I'd say beauty, like people can think of beauty as being really superficial and it's all about, what you look like on the outside. But I think, beauty is more about, and again, it sounds so cliche, but more about what you are as a person. Like, you can look beautiful on the outside, but have a horrible personality. And then people aren't going to see you as a very beautiful person, no matter what you look like. So I think now, with what we're going through at the minute, you can kind of work on being more beautiful in the sense that you can reach out to people that you probably wouldn't have bothered speaking to before, like your neighbors down the road, if there's like elderly people down the road. And I'm going off on a total tangent here,
No, it
but
all
this is
makes sense. Absolutely. These are things we can be doing, and I would even argue should be doing right now.
Mhm. Like this is what made me feel really good. Like I've got an elderly couple that live down the road and I haven't actually spoken to them before. But when this all started, I put a letter through their letterbox and said, here's my number if you want me to do grocery shopping for you.
Wow.
And they haven't. I think they're pretty independent, but I just put that out there and it made me feel a lot better. And I think doing things like that kind of makes this whole situation a little bit more beautiful, rather than
Mm.
even just doing makeup and looking superficially good for yourself at home. Doing little things like that is actually bringing more beauty into this like awful situation that everyone's in.
That's amazing. Yeah, props to you. That was actually an idea my wife and I have when we go back to our place back in LA. Of just, we keep hearing about all these things that our apartment building is doing. The staff and hiring more people to make sure it's extra clean and extra precautions, and they are going above and beyond. And so my wife and I were like, we got to find a way to like buy them all pizza or deliver food, or just I checked in with them the other day and I asked. Shout out David, if you're listening by random chance. I was like, how are you, man? Like, do you need anything? I went and got a coffee. on my morning walk, and I just looked at me, and then I looked at him, and like, he is helping keep me and a lot of other people safe.
Yeah.
I felt selfish just like going about my day. I was like, do you need anything? What do you need? And he looked at me, and he was like, no one had asked him that, or it just hit him differently. He was like, no, like, I'm good, but thank you. Like, it was a very, very genuine, sincere connection. Even though nothing happened, that connection happened. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, like at least you're putting the feelers out there so he knows that you're thinking about him and that he knows that you appreciate what
Yeah,
he's doing.
absolutely. I want to go back to, just because we have such an expert here on creating content, getting creative right now. And I think a lot of people are doing that, maybe finally opening up their camera, opening up their laptop, creating Instagram, YouTube, a podcast, tapping into that creative outlet a little bit more. So, or, here's your opportunity. I would love to kind of just maybe pass on some knowledge. If they want to start that, YouTube channel, that social media platform, what would you recommend them to do right now just to get started? What was some maybe some failures of yours, or how would you kind of recommend somebody get started right now?
I would say the first thing to do is get started. It's the kind of thing that people can tend to put on the back burner and be like, oh, when I have more lighting equipment, I'll get started. When I have a better camera, I'll get started. But like, there's no perfect time to get started. The perfect time to get started is now, and to talk about things that you're actually interested in and passionate about. So don't do what you think people want to see when you're first starting your channel. Do something that you're actually going to want to film and talk about. Like, sometimes I'll have videos that I know I should film and I will procrastinate.
What's trending or something like that. Yeah.
Like, I find myself not wanting to do it. And then if I do force myself to do it, the video turns out crap. Nobody watches it. And I'm like, oh. But then if there's a video that like I actually want to film, even though I know it's not going to get a whole lot of views, if I'm actually like interested in the topic, I enjoy it so much more and I feel so much more value in putting it out there. So yeah, for people that are, might be at home and think, okay, I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. Now is actually the perfect time to do it. And it's another way to connect with people because, with the social distancing, you're not really meant to be out speaking to people in person, but the internet's a great way to connect with people online. And if you're feeling a little bit lonely, you might be able to find, like a little community online that you can chat to, and it will just make you feel a little bit more connected with people at this crazy time.
Yeah, absolutely. Super straightforward, simple tactics. But I mean, someone in the beauty YouTube world says that I YouTube vlog, kind of men's lifestyle stuff here and there, but predominantly I'm a podcaster, and I tell people the exact same thing. Whatever is on your heart, whatever's in your mind and on your heart, go with that. Record that on a video, make it a podcast, make it an Instagram post, picture, blog, whatever it needs to be. The important thing here is that you are just making space and time for the creativity just to hit you. Maybe you think you want to do a YouTube channel, but when you actually sit down to film, you realize ahead of time you're writing things out and really, really planning and preparing. Maybe you're a great writer. Maybe, blogging is your outlet. Maybe Facebook articles is your outlet. Just open up the creative outlet opportunity and just see what comes out, and then take action on it. It's really that simple. People overcomplicate it.
I feel like that's the hardest part, is just getting the motivation to get started. But once you are over that hurdle, it's a lot easier from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then you learn, then you get the opportunity to connect with other people and grow and get feedback from your audience, whether that's, really on any platform. There are ways to ask of your audience to poll, to subscribe, to have these calls to action, to get feedback from the people that are out there, to create more of, what they want, what they're looking for, how you can help them. If you could say something right now, Stephanie, kind of getting towards the end, what do you think people need help with the most? Maybe you can speak specifically to your audience, your community. Like, if you could pass on a piece of information or advice or just human to human, like, what does your audience need the most right now? What do you think someone watching really could use the most right now?
I think like, especially the people that kind of watch me, I've been having, little DM conversations with my followers on Instagram. I find a lot of people are starting to feel anxious. They're not getting outside enough. They're not, seeing their family and friends. They're starting to feel a bit isolated and bored and, just sitting around in your pajamas every day. My advice, and obviously I'm no expert, I'm going through the exact same thing as everyone else, but this is what I've told myself. Get up, have a shower, wash your hair, do your makeup if that makes you feel good. Try a different look, because sometimes you could try a look, it turns out awful, and then you don't want to wear it outside. But now you can't really be going outside and seeing many people, so now is the perfect time to experiment.
I
Um,
experimented with a mustache last night.
oh yeah,
I had a beard for like 2 weeks, and I was trimming last night, and having like my full cleanse, my me day, and I trimmed it all down except for the mustache, and I just had fun with it. And then I woke up this morning and realized how creepy I looked. I was like, I'm not gonna have Stephanie be the first time we actually meet, virtually here. I'm not gonna do that. So I didn't experiment too long with that look, but good point.
it wasn't a win. That's pretty funny. I was going to say, also, yeah, I love to cook. So I've been doing a lot of cooking. And also now's the perfect time to, well, if you can get, good ingredients from the shop, experiment with cooking and make sure you're eating really well, like you said. Get outside, get some sunshine, go for a walk. And doing things like that will actually help you feel better as well if you are feeling, anxious. Because what's that thing you get when endorphins?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
endorphins
endorphins.
and vitamin D. Get out, get even a little bit of sunshine, 15, 20 minutes, increase your vitamin D levels, increases
Yeah.
your mood, a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it probably would help boost the immune system too.
Mm.
So definitely, try and do that. Get sleep. So try and keep your routine as regular as it was before. So
Thank you
don't
for
stay up.
saying that. Yes,
Yeah,
huge.
go to bed at the time you used to go to bed, and try and get up at a reasonable time. And just it's all about finding a new routine, because who knows when this is going to end.
Very true. Very true. It's get creative, explore when the new time that you may have right now, but maintain some structure, maintain some discipline in your morning routines, your evening routines, because like you said, we don't know when it's going to go. Well, I don't think anything is going to go back to the way it was, but there will be a day when we do go outside more often, when people go back to work, when we just transition out of this phase. You don't want to be setting your future self up for not failure, but just a harder transition back if you're creating all of these new habits and things.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah. Poor habits. Just be mindful of the habits you have right now and the ones you're making. So they serve you here and now, but also in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on here. I'm glad that we could really make this a global event and tap into somebody outside of my country here. It's wild to kind of hear the differences and what the country is doing for having patrol and things like that. And I'm wondering if it's going to get like that here in the States, having checkpoints and things like that. But no, I'm glad to hear your family's doing well and you guys are staying safe, though.
Yeah, thanks so much for asking me on. Stay safe and stay well.
Thank you, guys. All right, that's a wrap for Stephanie. We're going to move on to the next speaker.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Chase.